town where baseball legends live forever, one of the sport's hardest throwing lefties has finally arrived. Billy Wagner's journey from a two-stoplight town in Virginia to Cooperstown, New York is a story of grit, faith, and flame-throwing brilliance.
Being up here today, I feel like my baseball life has come full circle. I was a fan before I could play, and back when baseball wasn't so available on TV, every Saturday morning I watched Johnny Bench. And so many of the other greats on a show, The Baseball Bunch. Now here I am, standing among you. It's really hard to believe.
And following his induction ceremony, Billy joked, "I hope someone has video of all of this."
I'm hoping somebody videoed it. I think that it's been a whirlwind. I'm hoping there was video of this because it has been very overwhelming.
Don't worry, Billy, we have you covered. Billy Wagner's induction weekend is underway, and it is a huge weekend also for the Astros and Billy's teammates. Right now, the Astros holding a party here at the Ommegang Brewery. Now, as you can see, it's a private event, but we're allowed inside, so let's show you how this party is going.
We saw former manager Larry Dierker, slugger Lance Berkman, and pitchers Mike Hampton and Shane Reynolds, all thrilled for their tiny, by baseball standards, fireballing friend who has finally found his place in the Hall in what was his final turn on the ballot.
If the Hall of Fame is a numbers thing, and you've got to acquire a lot of numbers, so you have to play for a long time. He played for a long time. He was dominant for a long time. Put his numbers up against anybody, the guys that are already there. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer. That's what I don't understand. Somebody explain it to me so I would know why that it took 10 years for a guy that has the numbers almost equivalent to the guys that are already there, and one of them was the first ballot Hall of Famer. It's about time.
It's a long overdue. It's a big relief for me. I'm sure even more for him, and of course a big thrill for him and all of us that are here with the Astros.
Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio missing from this photo as they had their own Hall of Fame function to attend. Still, this group glad to stir up some Billy stories inside this brewery.
You know, even in my era, which was late 90s or early 90s, late 80s, and then through the 90s, you didn't have a whole lot of guys throwing 100 miles an hour. You didn't. You'd see them every once in a while. Your closers, maybe one, starter, maybe one guy at the pen, for an inning. That's what made him so special. And you talked about stature. I mean, dynamite comes in small packages. You don't have to be, huge to play that game and be successful. It's been proven. But to go watch him go out there and throw a fastball 100 miles an hour from the left side was something at that time, I think, extraordinary. And it was really fun to watch.
I imagine that was something that you guys often talked about a lot when you were sitting in the dugout saying, did that guy just hit that number, or is he really throwing that hard?
I tell you what was funny. You know what we said a lot of times? When somebody would hit it, that's when you'd be like, oh, he hit it. Well, we're not expecting him to hit it. I mean, you don't think about it, but if you really go back and think, a guy throwing 100 miles an hour at that time, which, like I said earlier, wasn't seen as much, when somebody literally hit it, you were like, oh my, that was a shock. The shock wasn't, oh, he struck that guy out. Because most times when he come in, it was pretty quick at boom, 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 so you had to pay attention. But when somebody hit it, it's kind of like, wait, somebody hit it? Who hit it? You were impressed with the guy that hit it. So it was that Wagner. That's just part of Billy Wagner.
We have great video of you and Billy side by side on treadmills way back in the day.
Yeah.
What was your relationship with him like?
It was good, but there is a funny story. Some of these guys in the media, you wouldn't know about the media, would you?
No.
Well, some of them have some tricks. So in 2000, we did not have a good year. We finished fourth, and Billy blew a few saves early on. And then one game, we called down to get him up, and they called back about 3 minutes later and said he's ready to come in. So he wasn't doing that well, but the last thing I'm thinking is he has something wrong with his arm. And so after the game, Ken Griffey Jr. hit a winning home run in the ninth inning of him. And so the media comes in and they say, well, what's going on with Billy Wagner? I said, I don't know. I called down in 3 minutes and he's ready. He comes in, he's throwing 96, 97. Yeah, he may have thrown 98 or 99 in past years, but it's not his fastball. It's not, I don't think his arm's hurt because he gets warmed up so fast. So they go straight to him and they say, Durker says, you've lost your fastball.
And that's what this is all about, swapping stories, right?
Yeah. So, I had to go and kind of smooth that over the next day. He told them, well, tell him to go out there if he thinks it that easy. Well, we were all fractious because we were just playing so terrible. Everybody that was great in 99 was not so good in 2000 in the new stadium. And I blame it on Enron.
Probably the best, I'm thinking about this story that I could tell that kind of captures who Billy was, not only as a player, but as a person. My rookie year, we were playing the Astrodome. We had a game against the Diamondbacks, and I think there was a tight game. I don't remember if we were down a run or up a run, something like that. But they had the bases loaded and 2 outs, and Tony Womack was hitting for the Diamondbacks. So Dirk goes out there to the bullpen, brings Billy in to try to get a 4-out save, and I think he gets to 2 strikes, and Womack hits a little flare out to left field. I was playing left, and I came charging in thinking I was going to make this great play, and I dove, and I shouldn't have dove for the ball. It was a base hit, but in my exuberance, I overplayed it. It bounced over my head. He got an inside the park grand slam, and we ended up losing the game, and of course, Billy, got the loss. And so I remember coming back in the dugout, and of course, I'm a rookie, and I'm dejected, and I made this kind of bonehead play, and there was some grumbling, from some of the older guys like this rookie, and Billy came up to me and just put his arm around me and was like, dude, if you'll play hard like that, you can be on my team anytime. And was just in a moment where wasn't a highlight for him, wasn't a highlight for me. He was there to comfort me as a young player and really encourage me. And that's the thing that stands out to me about Billy is as great as he is or was on the mound, he's an even better human being. So just a tremendous guy, a lot of great accomplishments, but the thing I'll remember the most is the person that he is.
And while Billy wasn't able to attend this party, we will see him on Saturday. There's a golf tournament in the morning, a news conference with reporters later in the day, and finally, the big Hall of Fame parade down the streets of Cooperstown, and we will, of course, be there for that. Here in Cooperstown, fans are lined up for the big Hall of Fame parade. This is one of the signature events of this weekend. Some of these chairs have been here since 7 or 8 in the morning. Now, for Billy Wagner, one of his highlights comes courtesy of a fellow inductee.
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming. That is the word Billy Wagner uses to describe his induction weekend thus far. Saturday morning, the Hall's annual golf tournament. Billy joking, we're lucky he didn't hit us with that drive.
You're lucky.
The day before, a serious session of BP with fellow inductee Ichiro, who at 51 is playing an exhibition game next week in Japan.
He barreled up every ball I threw. I threw really good BP.
Because Billy coaches high school baseball in Virginia. Hall of Famer and Astros teammate Craig Biggio has been watching.
Do you think Billy's enjoying his experience thus far?
No doubt about it. He's having fun. So he's having a good time, and we're having a good time with him.
But the most fun Billy's had is a simple game of catch.
Oh, the fun part, my fun part, yes. I'm watching Ichiro play catch with my son. How much fun was that? I mean, that is, I don't know who had more fun, me or him. When playing against him was one thing, but he's still really good. He probably could go out there and give you a couple big quality ABs a night.
And give credit to the Seattle Mariners, Ichiro's first team, for providing us with that video of Ichiro and the Wagner family. And right now, if you think this is a lot of people, wait until Sunday, Induction Day. This place will be packed.
And 10 gold gloves, the first Japanese-born player into the Baseball Hall of Fame, the legendary, now class of 2025, Ichiro Suzuki.
Outside the Hall of Fame, you have this, the standings board with the Astros in first place. And while numbers and stats are great, let's not forget, what makes baseball so special are the people. And Billy Wagner is finding that out firsthand.
Two of the best left-handers of all time, two of the best people.
Billy Wagner and CC Sabathia talking to reporters one final time before Sunday's induction.
It's just been a great moment for me and my family.
Wagner's exhibit inside the Hall of Fame building is on floor number 2. He enters as an Astro, but now
we're teammates in this now, right?
He's part of a whole new team, as Sabathia has repeatedly pointed out, the class of 2025.
It's been a lot of fun the last 6 months to be able to get to know each other, talk baseball.
Wagner is also part of another small group within the Hall, relief pitchers. Yankees great Mariano Rivera approves.
We need closers in the Hall of Fame, and have Billy adding to the team is great.
Wagner, though, is the first and only left-handed one. No surprise, he's been embraced with open arms by the game's all-time greats.
The hospitality of Cooperstown and tradition and, your heroes, the guys coming up and just make me feel comfortable. It's been a lot of fun, except for the golf game. Other than that, everything's been great, though.
You were so emotional when you found out that you got in. What was it that kind of brought that up out of you when it found out? Well,
15 years of going through that, that'll do it for you. I mean, you go through 15 years of criticism to get to this point. There's not much you can do, and just the journey and the struggle to get to this point. Enjoy, and I think the gamut of emotions that you go through when you're going through this. But I'm sure there'll be tears tomorrow, and I mean, it's a great moment for me and my family.
You talked about the long journey for you to get the call to the Hall of Fame. What were some of the ways over the years you kept the faith that, one day I'm going to get the call? How'd you keep the faith?
Well, a lot of friends. There was a lot of friends. Jesus Ortiz was a big help to me. A lot of the Houstonians, Baggy and Bish telling me that it's going to happen. But just, really my family support and just, I don't like to pray for myself to get to the Hall of Fame, but there was a lot of people praying for that moment because, it had an impact for Southwest Virginia and for Division III teams. And to be able to be that guy, to be the first lefty, to be, put in that moment, it carries a lot of weight.
On the night before his Hall of Fame induction, I can tell you Billy Wagner is emotional, but can you blame him? Certainly the people here won't in Cooperstown, in Houston, or the people back in his home state of Virginia.
They came from all over, and they came to see them. Fans lining Main Street for the annual Hall of Fame parade. The Astros, first Biggio, then Bagwell, and finally Billy. Earlier in the day, the newest Hall of Famer said,
well, I think you never know what people think of you until you have this moment.
Said that. His fans responded like this about him.
Texas Heat.
The number 13 and how lucky it is.
100 miles an hour for a little bitty short kid just like me.
Billy the kid, he worked hard.
The fireman.
Oh, I just love that blazing fastball, You could depend on Billy to come in and put the lights out. He was ready.
Billy Wagner, the first left-handed relief pitcher to be elected from a small Division III college in rural Virginia, will now leave Cooperstown as a legend within America's pastime.
It's an emotional moment because of, being the first, I represent a lot. So it is emotional and proud. That's all I could really say.
Yes, Billy does represent a lot. And speaking of that small Division III college in rural Virginia, our team, searching through our archives, discovered this, that video you see of a young Billy Wagner playing for Ferrum College.
I don't know. I've just been blessed so much with, good arm, big legs.
It's from right around the time of the 1993 June draft.
I don't think that's any problem. I think, as long as I'm throwing hard and I'm doing what I'm doing, you can't look at the size.
Billy throwing some warm-up pitches in a bullpen. And, whoa, right there, that catcher. You see that catcher? Well, with the help of another reporter, we found him. He also traveled to Cooperstown for Billy's induction. His name is Andy Callahan. Andy, Billy mentioned it never occurred to him how much it meant to all of the people around him being inducted into the Hall of Fame. What did it mean to you?
I tell people that, we were just a bunch of boys, good old boys from rural areas all over Virginia. We were brought together, by the fact that we love baseball. All of us had aspirations of possibly making it into the major leagues, but I guarantee you the word Hall of Fame never was mentioned by anybody. So, you just never thought of that. And, we were a close-knit bunch, and it meant the world to all of us when he finally got in.
When I sent you an image from the video, you catching Billy, you thought what?
I was on the bus on the way to the ceremony, and I was like, I get this text from this number I don't recognize, and I open it up, and I showed everybody sitting around me. I said, look at this. And I was like, yeah, that's me,
When did you realize while catching Billy, he was different than all of the other pitchers out there, I imagine, that you've caught?
Yeah, one thing about Ferrum is we had a lot of great arms, so we had a lot of guys that could throw hard, but it was just, when you had bigger guys that throw the ball hard, it's a little different. And then you put, 5'8", 5'9" on the mound, and the ball gets to you a lot faster than you expect. It was something special. Being a catcher, sometimes you don't realize that in the moment until the recognition starts. You don't really think about it, and then all of a sudden you go to a ball game and there's 20 scouts sitting there looking at him like, okay, this is something special. Because we didn't have radar guns all the time, so we really didn't know.
And he left a lasting impact on you, correct? Your hands?
Oh yes. Yeah, my left knuckle is significantly larger than my right knuckle, and luckily it doesn't hurt. I'm probably one of these days, a few years down the road, I'll start getting the aches and pains, and then I'll really have a reason to give him a call then. But I just wanted to congratulate, Billy, Sarah, and his family for, his induction into the Hall of Fame. Looking at the numbers all over the years, it was well-deserved and long overdue. And I also wanted to thank him and the Houston Astros organization for, inviting us, allowing us, me, my son, the rest of the Ferrum family that was able to attend, for including us in the celebration weekend. And it's something that we will never forget.
As the all-time strikeout champion, inning for inning, please welcome to the Baseball Hall of Fame, class of 2025, the great Billy Wagner. Such an honor. All these Hall of Famers, and thank you so much, everybody, for coming.
Billy,
it's been, I think, 7 months or so since you got elected, and so during the course of that time, and since you've been up here, what does it mean for you to be here and to get this honor after kind of waiting so many years to get the call?
Well, after seeing how a lot of guys like Lee Smith and Ted Simmons and guys had to wait their turn to get to this point through veterans committees, and how hard it is to get in here, it's well worth the wait. Representing Southwest Virginia, small colleges, that's the perk. There's a lot of people to thank for that, but it's hard to put into those words, but it's well worth the wait.
Here at the site of the induction, right behind me, those are lawn chairs. The fans have marked their spot for the big Hall of Fame ceremony. So yes, they're ready. And tonight, Billy Wagner goes to bed knowing he's ready as well. Billy Wagner could enjoy a day of golf and an evening parade knowing his Sunday speech
As close as it's going to get. Yeah.
is finished.
I'm not too worried about it. I pretty much have rehearsed it for about 10 years, so...
Why Billy had to wait so long to be elected will always be a mystery. None of that matters now, though, points out Hall of Famer Craig Biggio, class of 2015.
We don't get too caught up in all that other stuff. It's just that he's a Hall of Famer, and we're so excited to have him.
Though Billy enjoyed seeing this video of him batting, which we found in our archives, he describes this Hall of Fame weekend as overwhelming. After all, this fierce, fireballing closer, Billy the Kid, is also known as Billy the Lawn Guy.
2 days ago I was weed eating and mowing. So now you come up here and there's a lot of different things going on. So I'm excited. I'm excited about my speech. I think for 54 years I've been kind of working on it, and so having the rehearsal for that long, I'm excited, and I'm glad that I'm going to get it over first.
And that's Billy Wagner for you. It has been quite the ride, this whole Hall of Fame process. And on Sunday, it finally ends as Billy Wagner will take his place among the game's legends. Billy Wagner, of course, will be the first left-handed relief pitcher to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Also one of a kind, the reception he once received in the minor leagues. And somehow we were able to find the video for this strange but true Houston sports story. Billy Wagner's 1998 season took a painful turn, literally. A screaming line drive off the bat of Arizona's Kelly Stinnett, striking Wagner in the head. He suffered a concussion and a cut to his left ear, but luckily no lasting damage.
Billy's he's only 5'8", but he's a tough little son of a gun.
Right now, the best therapy for Billy is rest.
A couple of weeks later, he reports to the Astros farm team in Jackson, Mississippi, where he once pitched before he starred in the majors. But this wasn't your typical injury rehab assignment. On Sunday, August 2nd, the Jackson Generals throw Wagner a baby shower. Fans there expressing an interest in bringing Wagner a gift after learning he and his wife Sarah had just given birth to their first child. Any fan with a gift gets in free. That's the way these people are around here, Billy later said. And that baby? His name is Will Wagner, and he's now a professional baseball player himself. Drafted by Houston, later traded to Toronto. So, what does he think of that shower? Are you aware of this story?
No.
You were not aware of this?
No, I don't think they've ever told me that story before.
You need to ask him about it.
All right, I will. I'll call my dad actually after the game and ask him about it. That's funny.
A little later, Will said to me, maybe my dad did tell me about this. Either way, a baby shower for Billy Wagner in Mississippi is a strange but true Houston sports story. And I cannot believe we have the video of the baby shower, thanks to the staff back at the station.
Woo!
Good afternoon and welcome to Cooperstown.
What's your level of anticipation for Billy's speech and how he's going to present it?
You know, I mean, if he prepared himself as well for the speech as he did as a closer in Major League Baseball, it's going to be great. And, you know, I know that, you know, guys are a little out of their element when they're giving, you know, speeches as opposed to being on a field, but I'm sure he's going to do awesome. And, you know, he's been so gracious, and we've all just been so thankful to be here.
What makes Billy Billy?
I think he has an internal engine where, you know, you might not always see it, and you might not always hear it because he's pretty, you know, quiet and nice by nature, but he's got a fire inside of him that made him get to the field and work his tail off every single day, and I think that's the only way he knew how to do it, you know, from an early age, from a kid, and, you know, I don't know, he's an incredible family guy as well, so he has it all.
Brad, thank you.
You bet.
A 5'10" right-hander who learned how to throw left-handed and 100 miles per hour. A flame-throwing reliever, he'd make 7 All-Star teams with the Astros, Mets, Phillies, and Braves. He is number 2 all-time in park-adjusted ERA, behind only Mariano Rivera, and retired with the highest number 1 strikeout percentage in Major League history. Please welcome Hall of Famer Billy Wagner.
As chairman of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, it is my honor, Billy, to welcome you into the Hall of Fame family and to ask Commissioner Manfred to read the inscription on your plaque.
William Edward Wagner. Billy. Houston, National League, 1995 through 2003. Philadelphia National League, 2004 through 2005. New York National League, 2006 to 2009. Boston American League, 2009. Atlanta National League, 2010. Fireballing lefty closer, limited base runners, as well as any pitcher in history. Ushered in new era of bullpen dominance, striking out 1/3 of batters faced across 16-year career. 7-time All-Star, recorded 7 seasons with 35-plus saves, becoming 5th pitcher to reach 400 mark. Finished big league career with 422 saves and a 2.31 ERA after playing collegiately at Division III level. Retired at the top of his game as one of only 2 pitchers ever to finish a career with a sub-1 whip in more than 500 innings.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer Billy Wagner.
Thank you. Thank you. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for my Lord and Savior. Without you, amen. Without you, none of this would be possible. And with you, nothing is impossible. Not even a 5-foot nothing, 100-pound nothing, making the Hall of Fame. God is great.
Faith, family, overcoming obstacles, those were the main themes of Billy Wagner's induction speech. Now here at the Clark Sports Center in Cooperstown, it has cleared out. Of course, the ceremony was pushed back an hour because of the weather. And just moments ago, we did speak with Billy Wagner about his experience. As for Billy Wagner's speech, it lasted about 17 minutes by my count.
In conclusion, to every kid out there, this is my message to you. Obstacles are not a roadblock. Obstacles are stepping stones. They build you and shape you, refine you. I wasn't the biggest. I wasn't left-handed. I wasn't supposed to be here. There were only 7 full-time relievers in the Hall of Fame. Now there are 8. Because I refused to give up or give in, I refused to listen to the outside critics, and I never stopped working. That's what this game does for you. It teaches you about life. It teaches you how to persevere. Don't fear failure. Embrace it. Because perseverance isn't just a trait, it's the path to greatness. Thank you to the Hall of Fame for the incredible honor. Thank you to my every teammate, every coach, every fan, every person who believes in me along the way. I am forever grateful. This game is more than numbers and metrics. It's winning the moment. It's being excited for your teammates when they succeed. It's being crushed when you don't come through in the clutch. It's knowing that there is always tomorrow. The love of the game has meaning. And it's not about salaries and rankings. It's about perseverance, passion, grit, and the pursuit of perfection. It's about the 1, 2, 3 inning, play to win, and let God take care of the rest. Thank you, and God bless.
Typically a closer, Billy Wagner was a starter here on Sunday. He was the first of the inductees to speak, and he was relieved to be the first one, I can tell you that. And the newest story in right now is the installation of Billy's plaque inside the Hall of Fame gallery. Billy's best line from his speech came about a minute in, and yes, it drew a good laugh from the crowd.
But one of my former setup guys, Russ Springer, gave me some advice. He said, take a deep breath and remember all the times that he faced the 3, 4, 5 hitter so that I could blow away the 6, 7, 8 hitter.
That was good. And Billy also talked about overcoming obstacles, grit, perseverance, all of those ingredients which he used to become one of the greatest closers in the history of baseball, coming from rural Virginia and Division III school, Ferrum College, and of course being undersized. Now I asked Billy about building that speech and which part was most difficult. As far as the construction of your speech at the end, you talked about obstacles and perseverance. Did that take a long time to construct, or was there other parts of the speech where, when you were writing it, that you had the most difficulty?
Well, yeah, I had a hard time trying to really put into words what people meant to me. You know, the thing that I love the most is I love coaching. I do. I love coaching probably more than I love playing. And when my team's out there, every moment I'm around them is a teaching moment. And so being in this environment, them being there, and the opportunity to really show them that, you know, the impossible is possible, to look around and see what you are, you know, and I think so many of the people speaking today had similar messages in that sounding board. And so, you know, I always want what I'm doing to be meaningful and inspiring. And so I wanted to fit something in there that, you know, no matter what you go through, how hard it is, you know, it is achievable. And it's you know, don't argue about fair. Just do what you can do.
And without a doubt, coaching is just so important to Billy Wagner, also his family, obviously, and all of his kids were here, including Will Wagner, who of course is now with the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Astros, 16 players were here in Cooperstown, and following the ceremony, I ran out to the buses where the players were taken away, but before that, I asked them one question. What did you think of Billy's speech?
I thought it was great. You know, he normally doesn't talk that much, but it was heartfelt. You know, he thanked all the right people and was, as he said several times, humble. And he didn't need to be, because he was pretty darn good.
And to my big league teammates, managers, coaches who had such an impact on my career. Lance Berkman, you are a Hall of Famer to me. You are one of the greatest to play the game, and I was happy to be your teammate. Your faith and never judgmental attitude helped keep me accountable with my faith. Thank you.
Well, I was honored to be mentioned, I'll tell you that. That was, I was not expecting that, and it was very touching. So it's kind of emotional for me. Billy's such a great man, first and foremost.
Oh, I thought it was outstanding. I mean, Billy's such a down-to-earth guy, and I know he was so nervous. You know, he doesn't do a lot of that, but I think he did an absolute great job. Everybody was pleased. I think he was pleased.
I thought it was great, man. He thanked everybody. You know, as a baseball player, you hear the stories about he wasn't even a left-handed pitcher at first, and you come in and, like he said, can't give up on yourself. Just don't give up. Keep working, keep grinding, and that's what he did, man. He kept grinding, became one of the best closers ever in history.
I thought it was exactly Billy Wagner. I got an opportunity to play with him in Boston, and I enjoyed every moment I had with him. And, you know, he's just very humble and just goes about his business. And for a guy who is as talented and accomplished as he was, I think he showed his true personality today.
And Jed is right, that was Billy Wagner without a doubt. Appreciate all of those guys answering our question.
It's hard to believe now, but I was a starting pitcher all through the minor leagues and never started a game in the big leagues. At the same time, I saved 422 games in the majors, but I never closed out a game in the minors. It was Larry Dierker who saw that I could succeed as a closer. Thank you, Larry.
Billy Wagner's road to the Hall of Fame, well, a portion of it was built right here in upstate New York, just 2 hours from Cooperstown. Billy Wagner came here 32 years ago with fire in his arm, but also doubt in his mind.
Before he wore this uniform, he wore another one for an Astros team located in a small upstate New York city called Auburn, within one of the lowest ranks of professional baseball.
I roll up in an S10 truck. There was a lot of doubt.
Billy recently acknowledging the pressure he felt back in 1993, being Houston's first-round draft pick, the 12th player selected, just weeks before reporting here.
I'm definitely small.
He was a pint-sized pitcher from pocket-sized Ferrum College in rural Virginia. Billy told me he credits the Astros for helping him along.
You know, you find your teammates, you find the people who kind of care for you.
What was Billy like when he first arrived in Auburn?
We found Bob Comentucci living in New Jersey.
And, my first impression of Billy is that he was a very well-mannered and polite kid.
He was Auburn's assistant general manager then. Bob says during games, he used to look after Billy's now wife, Sarah, at Billy's request.
She'd always sit by herself in the stands. He used to tell me, go up and sit with her, you know.
He even has the baseball Billy once signed for him.
You know, before he left, I got him to sign a ball.
That is phenomenal.
Billy Wagner showed up to Auburn in a small truck, unsure if he was ready, though Bob never saw that.
He struck me as very confident.
Billy now returns, carried by the respect of an entire sport.
And when you see him on the stage delivering his speech, you will be thinking what?
I'll be thinking, congratulations, it couldn't happen to a better guy.
And Bob also told me that Billy Wagner did not wear number 13 in Auburn. He actually wore number 3 because all of the smaller sizes were the smaller numbers. Great story about minor league baseball right there.
I wouldn't be here today without my catchers. Brad Osmus, Tony Eusebio, Jerry Goff, Brian McCann, Randy Knorr, Paul LaDuca, Todd Pratt. There's so many. And you made me better and got me where I am today. Thank you.
What did you think of Billy's speech?
Oh, it was great. I mean, just, you know, I never got a chance to really play with Billy. I don't know him great. I actually had the opportunity to talk to him a little bit this offseason, just talking baseball and stuff like that. But just seems like a very simple man and seems like a man that I'd get along really good with, you know. Love he talked about his faith the way he did. Obviously, super close with Lance Berkman. Me and Lance are super close friends. Love him to death. So if Billy's anything like Lance, we would have hit it off, that's for sure.
And Billy the closer, when you were playing, what did you think of Billy the closer, seeing him from the other side?
It's just incredible because, you know, and I could say it, I guess, because they all make jokes how little he is, but yet he's throwing 100 miles an hour, right? I'm 6'5", 240, and I couldn't top out more than 94, you know? So you kind of trying to figure that out, right? But just incredible, you know, just it was really... I was blessed to have Mariano Rivera, you know, closing games out for me for a long time. Whoever had Billy, you know, coming in and closing games out, you knew that you were going to get wins. And as a team, it's so important. I mean, you see that today, how important it is to have a closer, have somebody that can come in and just shut the game down. And he did it for a long time and did it as good as anybody and struck out. I think he struck out more. I didn't realize how I believe they said he struck
One out of every 3 guys.
Yeah, I think that was the best ratio in history. So just incredible, long time coming. He should have been a Hall of Famer. It seems like a long time ago.
You talked about how you never started a game in the major leagues, but you led things off here today. How did you feel about that? Is that the spot you wanted? How was it going first?
Everybody wanted that spot. Everybody wanted that spot, but I'd waited the longest. So, you know, it was just, it was good to get that out of the way. I think the longer I'd have waited, the more emotional I probably would have gotten. So I think they said, let's get that guy off the stage as quick as possible.
Billy, when you talk about feeling those Hall of Famers arrayed behind you, the guys you watched on the baseball bunch and whatnot, which
San Diego Chicken,
which is a great shout out.
A big turn on right there when I was little.
So, what sense do you get of what it really means to be a Hall of Famer? I mean, there's so much parsing of the numbers and the achievements, but once you're there, what does it feel? Does it feel like something even greater?
Yeah, it does, and I think it's because of, you know, it is the people that came before you, and the knowledge of what they've accomplished, and the, you know, what it takes to get here. I don't know if I'll ever feel like I belong. I don't know if anybody ever feels that. I feel like pinching myself quite often because, you know, it's not something you can just wake up. I think, you know, it's a dream. But I also think, I mean, you look at Johnny Bench, you know, watching these guys, Carlton Fisk. I mean, there's just the history involved in the game and how much the love of the game is still there. You know, being a fan, you know, it's been really hard this week to not just you know, be a fan guy and just, I'm looking around and I mean, George Brett and Wade Boggs and, you know, these guys that I grew up watching and guys I played against, played with. I mean, it's just, the honor is something I think it's hard to put into words.
And in the end, Billy Wagner did not just make it to Cooperstown. Along the way, he brought all of his past stops. And now, Billy Wagner, the legend, will live here forever. In Cooperstown, I'm Jason Bristol. Thanks for watching.